Not free love, final ending, all other parts down below. During the D waiting period she moved out and we did joint therapy for the purpose of improving co-parenting. 2 different therapists helped us a lot, noticed we cared deeply for each other still, and attempted to get us to a place where R was possible. X was still deeply in the fog. After D was final, I waited a few months and then moved away with my young daughter and began rebuilding my life. I moved to my hometown, where X vowed she would never live. My life has improved, as has my daughter's, being so close to a large family. I dated an old friend steadily and things were going great, until they got too serious for her. Near the end of that relationship, I saw a change in X during our co-parenting interactions. She began apologizing. She began admitting her mistakes. I was reaching a place where I was beginning to forgive. We began being more friendly with each other, and it was nice. It remained on that level for months, and then out of the blue I received that letter. A heartfelt apology, admission, and expression of love with no blame and no requests. It immediately rang true. It seemed she had finally put her pride on a shelf and was seeing things, and herself, as they really are, and she was accepting it. For the scheduled summer kid exchange, I took D8 to her to fulfill my responsibility of % of travel. What I planned to be a simple drop-off before heading off on my own vacation turned into a week and a half. X and I dated. We talked a lot. While out the first night she broke down crying, apologizing, promising. In public, not insignificant for such a prideful woman. While I was there her grandmother had a massive heart attack in front of us which threw a wrench into many plans. I was able to observe her in an extremely stressful situation, and I saw obvious improvements. She really wants to come home, wherever home is and whatever it looks like. She wants to go to MC and return to IC and is very adamant about it. Shared passwords are no longer an issue for her. I've now been back home for weeks and our talks and courting continue. She has secured a job in my location and is getting things ready. My new GF will be moving into my house in 2 weeks, climbing into the front seat of the roller coaster. Let the fun begin. I believe that she truly wants this and is ready to do what it takes. It may be more prudent, cautious to do it that way, but I feel we're both on the same page. I'm ready to give it a go, knowing that it won't be easy and that there are no guarantees. It's scary with the potential to end in disaster, but it feels right and I'm okay with it. I can handle it if it does. Well, there really doesn't have to be a winner now, does there? If there is one, the clear winner here is D8. And if things fail, the clear loser is D8. Semantics aside, these forums are full of some very good wisdom concerning the DS, BS, affair fog, MLC, etc. The general consensus is that she come out of the fog before true R is possible. The OM/W must be completely out of the picture and the DS/WAS usually must hit rock bottom before waking up and turning themselves around. As consequence of her own actions and choices, this woman basically lost everything. Husband gone, daughter gone, job gone, I'm gone, numerous friends and family gone, home gone. Then she shacked up with a BF. That didn't work either. Then on her own, she is picking herself back up, reevaluating her life, seeing the value in IC. Working again, reaching out to an XH who may or may not be receptive and acknowledging her mistakes. Rock bottom doesn't really leave you with many tangible things to lose, nor to offer. Now she is leaving the only family she has left in order to move to a place she doesn't like, where her only support system is my very judgmental family. She is choosing to face her past, face me, face my family, who I myself have difficulty with, put her pride on a shelf, and work at being a mother and partner again, knowing that my expectations haven't changed much. I'd say she has plenty to lose. At the same time, I am in a better position to deal with whatever comes. I have support, I have stability, I've found strength as well as humility and acceptance. What do I have to lose? Some time, money spent on therapy that I'd spend there anyway. Some tears, I'm okay with that. What do I have to gain, other than the possibility of a fulfilling relationship and ecstatic daughter? Not much, because I already have what I need. Comments, let's face it, the easier way for both of you would be to start over with someone new. She wouldn't have to face any of her issues or make any amends for her past transgressions. Neither would you. I firmly believe you get out of R what you both put into it. The fact you both went to IC and are willing to go to MC is a great sign. The fact is nothing is going to fully reassure you right now. No amount of snooping or lie detector test is going to give you peace of mind. The only thing that will do that is consistent action on her part over time. I don't believe the marriage will never be as good philosophy some of the tamers try to shove down everyone's throat. In my case, I would say my marriage is better. We both put in a lot of hard work and now are enjoying the fruits of our labor. I wish you guys the same. OP responds, honestly, I believe she's been honest. But when we get into discussions about it, I do think she tries to minimize it a bit. I understand that reticence though. Again, that's where MC comes in. I don't think she fully comprehends that I don't care about how far things went. My threshold was reached as soon as I woke up alone with my wife at another man's house. Anything else is just details. R is definitely not all roses. It's hard. We have fought. I've made her sleep in the spare room already. I've also woken up to find notes on my nightstand, marker messages on the bathroom mirror, etc. Have left for guy time with my brother and returned to a clean house with dinner prepped. Even though she's on crutches, I still have concerns, still wary. I think that's natural and will be there for quite some time. When I call her out, she gets defensive and sometimes nasty. But if I don't overreact to that and just firmly wait without trying to fix, she clearly puts more effort into making up than she does toward her defensiveness in the moment. Unless I egg her on. I need more fine-tuning too. Walking on eggshells is no good, but throwing eggs is also counterproductive. I have to say I love my new place. Almost every meal lately has something from the garden. Lately I eat a fresh tomato from the garden or a bowl full of blackberries as a snack before lunch, or an apricot smoothie. The neighbors behind me are passing me corn and crookneck yellow squash. My peppers are almost ready and I have plenty of carrots to dip in hummus. Apples will be ready soon. Took a drive through the canyon the other day. Less than 5 miles from the house is National Forest. Cooked dinner over a fire in the backyard Sunday night. As far as outdoor adventurism goes, she's not on par with Tiger. I doubt I'll ever go backpacking or skydiving with new GF. Tiger is not on par with new girlfriend. T was all fun with no commitment. Is all good. My task, don't stop, do those things with the guys that do. She completely resents the fact that I used a VAR. I honestly could care less. It was used for a reason and I'd do it again. Last night something happened which reinforced my stance there. When talking of her returning to work, she's convinced she told me she was scheduled for 7 to 8 hour shifts, which the doctor prohibited. What she actually told me was she was scheduled for more hours than typical, because I knew she was scheduled for more days than typical. I thought that was it. I made an assumption. Yes. Yet again her argument is that I never listen to anything she says. X is still hobbling with a broken leg. Getting better though and tromping around without the crutches, which is good. Family members planned a holiday camping trip. I got my gear together and went into the mountains alone, expecting company. Nobody showed up. I was pissed at first but embraced the situation and had a very nice relaxing camping trip under the stars by myself. Some good time to decompress and contemplate. Later in the weekend had a big family gathering at my parents' house. X and everyone got along great. It was nice, busting my back this week at work and preparing for X's B-Day. A good friend of hers and I have been talking and she and her man are coming here to surprise her this weekend. Yeah, she reads this but no clue which friend is driving her nuts and I'm thoroughly enjoying that. In anticipation, she is busting her back cleaning the house top to bottom, which I'm not going to complain about. Things are going great. We're having fun and enjoying each other's company, laughing more often than not, harvesting the garden, taking good care of D8. Together, I'm pleased. Tonight, we had an argument about cooking. I've previously expressed that I'm not okay with providing meals for us three every night. And in a partnership, I expect a 50-50 split. She says she has problems cooking for me because I usually don't eat meat nor dairy. She gets satisfaction and validation from cooking for others and having them enjoy their meals. She isn't confident that I will enjoy her meals, so why bother? Throw a bunch of veggies with sauce in a foil pack and toss on a black bean burger and I'm good. With her moving and I've refused to pay her bills. Even though she works, she still has a cell phone that doesn't work. I am providing shelter, food, and amenities for us all, which makes it difficult to also pay for our counseling. When she moved here, I required that she own the move. She relied on her grandmother to move her belongings here. That fell through and she told me all she wanted was to be here with us, so she came with next to nothing. Due to that, she is paying storage fees for her stuff. Now she wants me to relocate her stuff as a Christmas present. That's what is in her wish list. But it comes with a $2,000 price tag which I am not prepared nor willing to spend due to our agreement. This is the source of much of our contention, or at least on my end. She agreed to do many things coming back. She hasn't and isn't. Even simple things like reading a book have taken months. Ultimately, I think she wants to be here, but I don't think she wants it enough to do much about it. Showing up is not enough. D8 has responded very well to having her mom back home. Indisputable. However, I can tell she fears us splitting again. She is very bright and perceptive. She sees the tension, and I can't promise her anything to make her feel better. X says she is open to counseling, but as far as I can tell, that's only if I find a counselor she is comfortable with. I set the appointments that work with her schedule, and I pay for the sessions. She wants to be here. As far as I can tell, that's only if I am never a crap. I provide for us all, and I don't require too much of her. An interpretation that is up to her, not me. The reading she expressed interest in beforehand no longer interests her. If I have to pull teeth to get her to read anything, I doubt that it will do any good. I don't see any progression in our relationship. It feels as though she wants to come back and have everything as it was before. But that didn't work, so it won't again. Then I was a husband. I saw it as my job to provide whatever she wanted. That is no longer my role. I am fine with that. I don't feel that she is. If I want the relationship to progress, things need to happen, versus focusing on things that should not happen. And in my new role, I see that if the relationship is to progress, I am responsible for 50% of those things. I can't be the one providing all the reading material. I can't be the one making sure the books I choose are read. I can't be the only one asking, how do we move forward? It must be a joint effort. I must fulfill my part, and I must allow her to choose to fulfill hers, or not. I'm fine with playing the pilot role, but I need a co-pilot, not a passenger. Am I capable of R with her? Yes, no doubt in my mind. If she is capable of doing what is necessary for R with me. What troubles me is that she doesn't ask me what is necessary. The question itself would show remorse. Willingness to address the answer would show commitment. Ex-wife responds, I have so much to say. I have no real place to start. My introduction has kind of already been made. 1. I love being back with my family. By family I mean OP and D. I really don't have a whole lot of other family. Just last night I was welcomed home from work with hugs and kisses, and all I want for Christmas is my 2 girls comment from OP. 2. It gets confusing when I'm told all is well in real life, but I read the complete opposite here. Mixed messages are a real pain. 3. As for the affair, I never slept with the other man, nor did I leave OP for that person. That was in fact the longest dry spell I've had ever. 4. Coming here, living in his city, with his people is wildly uncomfortable for me. I do it because I love him, but more importantly, I love our daughter. So, it's worth it. 5. Hosting here is wildly uncomfortable. I'm a very private person. During RD, only a handful of my friends knew it was happening. That was intentional. I don't share more than I have to. My therapist knew everything that was going on, and that was enough for me. Here I know that the entire internet knows what's going on, and honestly that makes me wildly uncomfortable. 6. I've noticed a pattern with OPS posts. They only occur under certain circumstances. 7. The message that restarted our relationship was not some kind of underhanded sneaky move to regain my meal ticket. I'm a grown woman. I can provide for myself. I've done it before and I can do it again. That email was sent with no expectations. I truly felt awful about what had happened, and I wanted to say so. That came from a true, real, genuine place, and I don't regret sending it. I meant every single word, and I honestly didn't even expect an answer. This whole situation is the absolute last thing I ever thought would happen. I know that I've been portrayed in a certain way, and that's unfortunate. I'm not some horrible woman that is just looking to use up a man and move on. Had a child with him, stayed with him through thick and thin over many years. Our relationship has been full of dysfunction. We aren't the type of couple that you write self-help books about. But then, what couple is? I messed up. Big. He messed up. Big. We're both to blame. And we're both responsible for fixing it. I'm willing to try. I might fail. That scares the crap out of me. But it's reality. He might fail too. That also scares the crap out of me. This whole situation is scary. But I'm here. And I'm trying. Even though it's terrifying. I'll still need a minute to articulate myself. I love him more than anyone else in the universe besides our sweet innocent daughter. So, my reply toward him will never be impulsive or rapid. There is too much love for me to be impulsive. OP responds, R should have never been attempted. I have a sister who remarried her ex-H, after both of them cheated on one another. That R happened a decade after their divorce. I wouldn't say I'm envious of their relationship, but at the moment it seems to be working for them. I once saw her as a very weak individual for getting back together with him. I now see her in a different light and applaud her courage. I've also had a brother whose wife got knocked up by other men while they were married, and that whole thing has been nothing short of a nightmare. Another brother is still married to his college sweetheart, and I think they'll stay together for the long run, even though their son has commented that they haven't acted like a married couple in love for years. I've witnessed a brother be single into his 40s with a desire to settle down, but with little hope, as after 40 years being single, he has no idea what to do with a woman for more than a week. And then I have my parents who celebrated their 50th a few years ago, but not without their own problems. There are many cookbooks, but none of them work for everyone. That being said, with the marriage being dead and gone, it is difficult to navigate the R waters when most of the advice available is for still married couples. They often don't have the years apart, the divorce decrees, co-parenting plans, moving back into a home that is no longer a marital joint venture. The M is done, and this must be a new relationship, all the way around. Due to that, I believe we should see each other as live-in boyfriend, girlfriend, not a reunified husband and wife. At this stage, the reality is, we do share a child. We do have triggers due to that old relationship, even if we tell ourselves that was with a different person and not the one standing her now. Balancing those things well will result in good progress. Neither of us will be perfect, we will both stumble. When we do, I think it's important to go back to the BF questions. It's much easier to put more effort into apologizing, conversing, courting, with a BF than it is with a wife or husband. There is a level of expected comfort with a spouse that can easily negatively affect one's level of motivation. Ex-wife responds, I have no doubt that I'm emotionally stunted. I thought for years that I was above that. I had to be the adult in charge since age 9, but I know other things suffered because of it. On one hand, I can take care of people like a typical Jewish grandma, but on the other hand, I don't know how to care for people beyond feeding them lavishly and giving them half-hearted advice. On one hand, I'm an old soul, but on the other hand, I'm a 31-year-old woman that never had a chance to be a kid. So maybe I'm acting out. By age 9 I was raising a toddler. I don't know how to be a kid. I don't relate. I think when I got the chance to be a real adult with a real adult job I lost my crap. Mom was married 4 times, 2 times to the same guy. Grandma was married 7 times. Marriage was never a goal for me, until OP asked me to marry him. It wasn't important till that day. I never expected it, but I was never in my life happier to say yes. He turned my life expectations on their head and I was stoked to say yes. I regret nothing there. I used to think that I didn't need those dumb self-help books. I actually told a very close friend that I didn't need no stupid books. Now I want to read all of them. I want to fix this. I want this so bad. There never really was a real relationship. I just wanted to be close to someone. I found that in Ringo, and it was several months after our split before I found the courage to tell OP how I really felt about the matter. I wasn't reading here. I thought that would just stunt me or hurt me. When I sent the apology, I had no idea what was happening in his personal life. I just felt that an apology was in order. It took me a while, but I was ready. I had no expectations. I didn't anticipate a response. I just wanted to apologize. No strings. Between and apology was more than a year. I had a lot of time to think about things. I love OP. I dated another man who reminded me of him. Similar birthdays and all. Every guy I dated, even who I was with for a while, was compared to OP. He's my one and only. We met for a reason. This is a hard one. I gave up custody of D because I thought I was going to ruin her. I felt myself acting more and more like my mother and I didn't want her to turn into me. This is incredibly painful to write. I'm full of tears right now. I felt OP would do a better job of raising her than I ever could. I know now that that's a mistake. I'm not my mother, and I could probably never duck up as badly as she did. But I thought at that time it was bound to happen. I wanted to save her. And save OP. I didn't want to hurt anyone more than I already did. Most folks will see this as BS. This was a real thought process for me. I didn't want to ruin the people I held dearest. I loved them so much I wanted to spare them from my dysfunction. I seemed legit at the time. OP responds. Now she is asleep on the couch. I woke her to come to bed and she said she'd be there eventually. She works tomorrow and I likely won't be able to talk to her until after her shift. And then she'll want to decompress, not talk. Small stuff builds up this way. New Year Eve haircuts. Sounds simple, but it's not about a haircut. Not at all. Months later, everything's actually been very nice for a month or so. I'm enjoying it. Working on living in the present more. So less updates. Birthdays weekend coming up. Mine and D's. We'll be traveling a little to take D to a planetarium, aquarium, natural history museum, and chill at a hotel with a pool. She decided she wants a birthday party with friends every other year and cool stuff with you guys otherwise. Sounds good to me. As bro sits the house, dogs, I get to see stars, sharks, and dinosaur bones before lounging. It's funny that D thinks this is about her. We've been doing fairly well. Until tonight, we had an argument. I stepped into the garage to work on a project. Apparently, she thought I was already in bed. She opened door to the garage asking if I was still outside. Was nice except for the response saying, "You're lucky I didn't lock you out again." That triggered me, reminding me of when she did exactly that. I tried to express that to her, how I never want to hear anything like that. And now I'm the jerk for bringing up old shit. Ex-wife responds, remorse is there. I do actually have a heart. Believe it or not, I am a human. My emotions fluctuate, just like everyone else. During the evening in question, we started all right. Drinks were consumed. We had a few little tiffs. I was irritated. Z is very hard to talk to when we are imbibing, especially when one of us has had more to drink than the other. We had some disagreements. I thought that Z had gone to bed. I went around the house locking doors and turning off lights like I generally do every night when it's well past midnight. Normal routine. I poked my head out of the kitchen door to make sure all of the humans and animals were where they should be before I went to bed. I was quite surprised to find Z in the garage. I made a comment about how I was glad I checked, otherwise I would have locked him out. I added the word again. I probably shouldn't have. It wasn't an intentional jab. It was completely innocent. I wasn't looking to throw jabs. I wasn't looking to start a fight. To imply that I'm heartless is rude and disrespectful. I understand that this is the internet, all anonymous and ripe for judgment. But there are humans on the other end of every statement you make. Humans that are doing the best they can. Please try to remember that. So, we hit a snag. I triggered him. It happens. It will most likely happen again. He triggers me. That too will most likely happen again. Things are okay right now. Some days are phenomenal. Some are crap. just like they are for everyone everywhere all the dang time. And to address your previous comment, no, it wasn't a subconscious thing. I honestly didn't mean anything when I poked my head out of that door. I was just trying to close up house and go to bed. Nothing more, nothing less. It seems that a few of you'll see me as some sort of home-wrecking harlot who lives for dysfunction and chaos. I grew up with dysfunctions and chaos. I don't want to replicate that. I grew up from Sons of Anarchy. Maybe that will give some of you guys some kind of baseline for me. I've actively tried, maybe not succeeded all of the time, but tried, to avoid going down the same path. Sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's a struggle. I can't ever blame my upbringing for who I am today, but it certainly shaped my identity and guided how I am today. I've seen some crap. I've been through even more crap. That crap shaped me. It scared me. It made me tougher. It made me mean. It made me ruthless. It made me sad. It made me hurt the people who are closest to me. But it also quite literally led to my survival. OP responds, well, ship hit the fan tonight. Argument started. She told me she'd like me better if I wasn't breathing. I told her to sleep in the guest room, went in the master and locked the door. She kicked it in, damaging the door, the wall, and my hand. I called my brother to come pick up D9 and me. He couldn't come, so sent my nephew. When he arrived, she took D9 into the room I previously locked and told her she is going nowhere, among other things. With nephew as witness, I told either she lets us both leave for the night or she does. She refused. I informed her I would call it in if necessary. She egged it on. I did. Cops came, assessed situation, and ex-wife is now behind bars with multiple charges until her court appearance on the 20th. Telling your daughter her mom is behind bars is not an easy thing. She seems to understand though. I told her it is okay to get angry, but kicking, screaming, and breaking things is not okay. Yeah, I saw the door, D said. Wish me luck. I have my share of blame for the current situation. Yes, comfort and convenience played a part in the decision to attempt our yes. We are toxic together and it is affecting our daughter. That simply cannot continue. Not just for D's sake, for all of ours. We can't keep doing this to her, each other, and ourselves. She was bailed out later that day, though not by me. She's not allowed on premises, I believe, until her court day. I have gathered belongings for her upon request and made D9 available for her to visit at my parents' house. I did call the cops, as I said I would. I didn't ask them to arrest her. I did tell them I did not agree with some charges, and I did tell them I was also drinking, more than once. After talking to both of us separately, they said it was cut and dry. Does her being arrested make me feel good? I don't feel much about it. I just worry about my daughter. Quick update. X has found place to rent and plans to stay in area long term. I think this is great for her and D9. Temporary protective order still in place. I've gathered her belongings and delivered to her new address when she was out. D9 in counseling once a week, and I believe it's helpful. X and D9 seeing each other regularly. We've been able to work out a schedule that is working well so far. Every other weekend plus a couple after school to evening visits each week. She's renting a place from my sister, who is moving soon due to military husband getting stationed elsewhere but wants to keep her house. They are there together for now, which makes the pickups, drop-offs much less of a problem than they could be with the protective order. I drop D off when she's gone but sis is home. Then she goes to the store while I do pickup. An equal transportation split for now, but once order is lifted we'll likely revert to method used in AZ. I drop off for mom time and she drops off for dad time. Child psyche is stress importance of this to avoid any possible stress of one parent taking child from other. Drop-offs are preferable to pickups, in other words, unless pickups are done from neutral location like school, etc. Fact that X is in sis place is helpful for D, though a bit weird for me and likely for X as well. It's already a familiar and comfortable home, so transition is much less harsh. Good news. I see and D9 decided yesterday that she's ready for every other week instead of weekly. Of course, she reinforced to do that if she ever feels need to talk or see her. We will make it happen. Protective order still in place until next court date near end of month. I'll leave it to her to give more details about that if she wishes. AZ divorce decree and parenting plan, for an order, has been filed here so we can next file a modified plan more suitable for close proximity co-parenting. Currently proceeding with co-parenting as it will be in the new plan, and it has been working out well. At least for myself, and D have not heard any different from her. Child psych gave D the go-ahead to stop coming if she's comfortable with that, but I'm still taking her twice a month for at least another month or two, unless, of course, D herself tells me she's done. Lately she has been excited to go, anxious to tell the IC about fun stuff she's been doing or has planned with me or her mom. So that's a good sign. She's awesome and enjoying her summer, adjusting well. Half a year later, D and I have really been enjoying the summer, and I've made it a busy one. I've taken her camping as much as possible, hiking along the river, swimming in the lake, boating at the dam, local festivals, etc. Many firsts for her this summer. She decided she wanted to swim all the way across the reservoir. She made it across and back, though with a life jacket. First time on a boogie board. First time shooting with a wrist rocket, first real hike, first roller coaster ride. I also got her signed up as a Girl Scout and she's super excited about that. I've been hiking a lot as well, bought a Bowflex system and converted a room in the house into a gym, pushing myself with both and getting more in shape. In early May I had a backpacking trip planned, but with the split and drama then I chose to cancel. Wasn't a good time to be off-grid and away from D. Felt good about my choice. Now I have another planned and we'll be going this weekend into early next week. Really looking forward to it. Starting at a popular campground deep in the mountain range. We'll climb and then drop down into a secluded canyon only accessible by foot or horse. Camping there where I'll replenish water supply at one of many mountain springs. From there we'll ascend one of the tallest peaks in the range at 10,000 feet. We'll camp again during the descent on the other side. Then continue the descent out of the mountains and drop down into the valley where I live. Huge plus of X staying in the valley is D has been able to spend very close to 50-50 with each of us during the summer. She does much better emotionally see us both frequently. There really haven't been any big issues with that, and we've both been pretty flexible about the days and working around work schedules and holidays. Next month when she goes back to school things will remain the same, except for the midweek overnights. That's mostly logistics. School is a block away from my house. We agreed to that schedule while she was still in school, with it being more flexible in the summertime. Based on the standard close proximity plan in this state. Do I have an aversion to X dropping D off at school after an overnight a couple times a week? No, not really, as long as her work schedule permits and D does well with it. We haven't talked about that though. No. A month later, protective order is now lifted. 4 months plus living apart post our almost 3 years post D co-parenting going as well as can be expected. We both acknowledge that things are done. I don't regret the attempt to R. It was definitely a time of turmoil, but I learned a lot from it. About her and a lot about me and my limitations. I am very hopeful for the future and I think we can do a good job of co-parenting for the next decade. Certainly, it won't be without its trials and challenges, and I may reach out when those happen. But for now, D is doing well, boundaries are in place, and it's time to move on. My comment, although the reconciling didn't work out, but OP finally learned it the hard way to stay away from his ex-wife. The good ending to this story is that he really cares about the daughter, and it seems she will have a good future. Did you enjoy this final ending? Sub and bell, going to make some food and back to